What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Wordsmith Forge. I'm Matthew J. Coran. And in this video, it's titled Discipline or Death. I want to talk about the topic of discipline, how it's come up in my life recently, how it relates a lot to your productivity in writing or whatever it is you're doing, and also how it literally keeps you from death. Alright, so this actually came up in a very funny way because I was just sitting in the living room with my wife and we were watching some funny YouTube video, just some random video I found. And then after that, it was like something in the YouTube algorithm showed me a video of Saint John Bosco, who is my confirmation saint, and I've begun to realize how influential he's been in my life without me even realizing it. He's the patron saint of publishers, and I started my own publishing company. And it's funny because before I was confirmed, I actually hated reading and writing, and then afterwards I got into reading and writing. Very funny. Very deep and profound. Anyway, so a video came up from him, and it was on the title of discipline and how it keeps you pure. It keeps you from sin. And basically, it was a guy narrating some of his writings about how he spoke to his fellow clergy about maintaining a routine, not staying up at late hours of the night, only eat during mealtime, things like that. Just general discipline practices that keep you on a routine, keep you consistent. And why is that important? Well, personally in my life, I can at least attest to my own experiences. I tend to be more productive when I'm on a routine, right? When things are chaotic and you have a lot going on, it's a lot easier to just push things aside, do this instead, do the easier thing, whatever. I'm not eating lunch, but I'm just going to snack throughout the day. I'm not going to work out in the mornings. I'll just work out whenever I have time, which turns into no time at all. And so, discipline helps you structure your life in a way where you can keep yourself accountable for things. For example, with the fact that I have a full-time engineering job, which takes a lot of brain power, it is very hard for me to engage in creative activity. I need to have it at certain times of the day consistently for me to get anything done. For example, with my writing, last year when I was writing book 1, I had to, 2 years ago now, when I was writing book 1, I would set aside time in the morning. I would write for 2 hours in the morning before work. And so I would get like 1,000 words a day. Even now when I set aside that much time, I don't get that many words. It's harder to find the mental bandwidth. But you get the idea. You set aside time consistently to chip away at something. And when I didn't have that, I wasn't being nearly as productive. I'm like, I'll just write when I get to it. And then you end up opting for the easier thing instead. Which brings me to my next point. Discipline roots out effeminacy. It does. What is effeminacy? I might have talked about it in an earlier video. I don't even remember, so I don't expect you to either. Effeminacy, as defined by St. Thomas Aquinas, is the attachment to pleasure to the point where you're not able to set aside pleasure to do things that are difficult. I'm paraphrasing. But basically, you will not set aside the things that are pleasurable to do the things that are difficult. That's what makes you effeminate. Speaking mostly to guys here. So, effeminacy destroys your ability to be productive, and it leaves you vulnerable to sin. Because effeminacy is a vice, and vices are what open the door to sin. Right? If you're not keeping busy, you know what they say, idle hands are the devil's plaything. if you're not keeping busy, you're opening yourself up to all kinds of temptations, even if it's just thoughts, right? And there are men I've talked to, like, they struggle with addictions, and they'll admit that the times where the addiction becomes the hardest to, like, the temptation becomes the hardest to resist is like at nighttime when they're not doing anything, they're just kind of lazing about. Or yeah, like during the day when they're not working or doing whatever. She's like, how should I pass the time? Beer? Like that's how these things come up in your mind because you're not focused on anything else. You know? And it's the case with your projects, your work, your family life, and your prayer time. When you don't have consistent prayer time, that is typically the first thing that goes to the wayside. And that should be the most important time of the day. And so it's important to have consistent timing to get things done. And so having a dedicated time for prayer, having a dedicated time for side projects, having your dedicated work time, keeping it all separate will also help your brain to kind of switch between one and the other. Because if you're just like doing things randomly whenever it comes to mind, you're going to burn yourself out and you're going to give up on a lot of things because no human being can possibly think of that many things at once. And so I'm putting this to practice even right now. If you see some of my other videos, you might notice I'm wearing the same clothes. That's because I'm recording several videos at a time. Right? Like I'm only human and like I have a job, I have a family, I have my projects. I have very little time where I can just like spend I can focus on preparing for a YouTube video, recording it, editing it, and all this stuff. So I decided what I was going to do is I'm going to shave off my Saturday morning. Like I have literally when I wake up, I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to wake up early every day and early morning from when I wake up to do all my other things, that's going to be the time for all my side projects and my prayer and everything else. Because in those early hours, not a whole lot else is going on with the rest of the world, right? And so Saturday mornings became my YouTube recording day. So I literally just, from when I wake up to a certain point of the day, I just record as many videos as humanly possible on all the stuff I want to talk about and just never get to. And so today is actually my first trial run of that. We'll see how it goes. I'm on video number 4 right now. So I think it's going well. And I'll let the engagement speak for itself if people are liking what I'm talking about. If you like what I'm talking about and you want to share your own experiences, feel free to drop it in the comments. And just keep engaged and I would love to hear from you. And until the next time, take care. God bless.